Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we will have the presentation of colors by the Allegan County Honor Guard. Will we please stand?
Honor Guard, attention! Air colors, up! Forward, march! Present, arms!
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Order, arms!
You may be seated. Want to take this time to greet you all. First of all, it's nice to see everyone in a setting such as this because last year we weren't able, because of the health pandemic, to do or even have a graduation. So it's amazing to see all of your faces at this time, and it's not about me. So I have a couple of different announcements or acknowledgments I want to make, but I want to welcome those of you who are here and those of you who may be watching via live stream as we broadcast, or those of you who are watching us at a later time. So welcome to the 2021 Local Corrections Officers Graduation Ceremony. At this time, I want to thank the law enforcement and corrections community that have come to support these men and women who have spent the last 4.5 weeks with our training staff and in our facilities training to finish up their local corrections officers training. So I want to thank our law enforcement community Represented here we have, or representatives from Allegan County. If you would just please stand. Allegan County representatives. We have Kent County representatives as well, and Ottawa County representation. And we don't want to forget the family and friends who have come out to celebrate in this accomplishment that these men and women are here celebrating today. I also want to acknowledge if we have any Board of Trustee members that are present, if you would please stand to be recognized. Thank you, sir. Without the Board of Trustees, nothing happens at our college. They are the reason that we are able to have productions or events such as this. I also want to acknowledge our provost, Dr. Canetto. If you would please stand, sir. And last but certainly not least, our Dean of Workforce Development, Dr. Amy Mansfield. And of course, the center and backbone for the the Criminal Justice Department, our administrative assistant, Rachel Crapel, who she's sitting in the back, so if she would just stand and wave, she helps facilitate everything. And actually this morning, as we were preparing for this, we came in and she came up to check the room to make sure everything was perfect, as she always does, and nothing was as it should have been. So she she just dropped everything that she was doing to make sure that we got everything aligned to make sure that things went as they should. But without further ado, I want to introduce our speaker for this occasion. Our speaker today is Sheriff Frank Baker from the Allegan County Sheriff's Office. Frank joined the Allegan County Sheriff's Office in 1990 as a full-time patrol deputy. After serving as a patrol officer for 3 years with the Wayland Police Department. Frank is a graduate of both Kalamazoo Valley Community College and Western Michigan University, and is a 2004 graduate of the Northwestern University School of Police Staff and Command. In 1993, Frank was assigned to the Detective Bureau as a general case detective. While a detective, he was trained as a hostage negotiator and a tactical team member. Frank was promoted to detective sergeant in 2003, and then to lieutenant later that same year when he was placed in charge of the services division. In 2006, he was then assigned as lieutenant over the patrol division, then later promoted to captain. In early 2015, he was appointed undersheriff and subsequently was elected sheriff, beginning his term in January of 2017. Frank was awarded the Michigan State Police Award for Professional Excellence in 1997. He was selected as the Child Advocate of the Year by Safe Harbor in 2001, where he served as a board member. He currently serves on the board of directors for the Allegan General Hospital Foundation, Allegan County Legal Assistance Center, and the Allegan County Children's Advocacy Center, where he has served for almost 14 years. Please join me in welcoming our speaker for the moment, Sheriff Frank Baker.
Good afternoon. I would like to thank Deputy Director Reese for the opportunity to speak with you guys here today. Also like to thank the staff and instructors at GRCC, because without your efforts, we wouldn't be able to have this celebration today. I would also like to thank the families of the graduates for sharing your loved ones with us and supporting their decision to enter the corrections field. Most importantly, I want to congratulate the graduates themselves. You've spent a great deal of time and effort to successfully complete and graduate the Corrections Academy today. You're beginning your career in corrections during a period of change. Corrections has evolved tremendously over the last couple of decades. The level of professionalism is growing at a rate that is matched by the number of graduates such as yourself that are occurring in our colleges and universities around the state. The only thing holding us back is the limited number of students willing to give of themselves to take on this challenging career. It was not long ago that I started my career. Well, I guess if we heard what happened there, it actually has been a long time. And I've been in law enforcement, as you might think, And as this thing has gone on, things have changed. But when I started, the field of corrections was not at the level of professionalism that it is today. The training standards that you have met did not even exist. People were not getting into corrections for what I would call the right reasons. Education and training wasn't required, and the pay was less than spectacular. Corrections was often looked at as a stopgap job. Corrections officers at that time were called turnkeys and jail guards, and it reflected an ideology that all this job required was to lock the doors and drop off the food trays. We were warehousing inmates till the release date. Think about this. It was only 18 years ago that the Local Corrections Officers Training Act was even written. So you can imagine how the level of training and professionalism varied from region to region and agency to agency. It was very easy to see how you can end up with deputies with very little or no training at all who are working or possibly supervising in our jails and our correction centers. The importance of establishing standards of training is critical to reducing liabilities in our correction centers, yet for decades, we went without these standards or any form of oversight. One of the things I heard when I decided to run for sheriff was that the patrol gets you hired and the corrections get you fired. And it was an old saying that was obviously due to the number of times incidents occurred in our jails that embarrassed an agency or cost them a lot of dollars. So many of these could have been avoided if we had professionalized the field of corrections earlier. And with putting a trained staff in place, minimizing those risks. Years earlier, it resulted in what at times is known as the Michigan Law Enforcement Officers Training Council in Law Enforcement, which is what we call MCOLs today. Fast forward now to 2003, when a group of like-minded legislators got together and created the Michigan Sheriff's Coordinating and Training Council for the similar purpose, reducing risks and liability and professionalizing the career field. So to bring about change, professionalism, and to create the standards and provide the oversight that we have today. So now that we have professional staff, we can focus on inmate programs and ways to return the inmates to society in a position to succeed. I've always believed that we have a captive audience, so to speak, so why not use that time constructively? Today, programs such as our career readiness and GED program, our reentry units, our community service, are examples of the success we are seeing. We had an inmate apply for a job via Zoom recently from our corrections center, and when that person was released, they had a job waiting. We've had an inmate who was working in a DETS crew in a DPW type of work in a park. The city that was utilizing the crew saw the kind of work the person was doing, how hard they were working, and offered them a job upon release. So you can see that this type of success is changing the field and really changing the people that we're drawing into it. With things like this happening, it's an exciting time to be entering the field of corrections. The system is now in place to provide us with the greatest opportunity for success. You will be joining many other professionals who are operating our jails and correction centers. So the groundwork has been put in place, but we need you to carry the torch. So I do have some advice for you. Number one, don't lose your sense of humor. Humor can help you deal with the many things you will see and witness throughout your career. And it's okay and it's good to maintain a sense of humor. Just know your audience and be mindful of those who you share that information with, because you do not want to disrespect those that might be involved. But it's good to have a sense of humor because you're also going to see some very sad and tragic situations. And as you try to deal with this, humor is a good way to help. Number two, don't forget the people you see and deal with every day are someone's son or daughter, father or mother, brother or sister, family or friend. Treat people the way you would want to be treated. Show them respect. Remember, your integrity amongst the inmates is important. I'll tell you a little story about once I was attending a graduation from one of our reentry units. And a person pulled me aside and said, "Sheriff, it'd be okay if you had the deputy that arrested me come here today." I'm like, "Why is that?" He goes, "I want him to see that I'm not the same person he arrested that night." So you look and you see the things that are happening and realize that these people aren't always going to be the way that they were when they came to the facility. They're not going to be intoxicated, maybe addicted to drugs, going through challenges in their lives that had brought them there. Number three, Make time for your family and yourself. Don't you wrap yourself up too much in this career. Your family and friends will help you last a career and provide that needed break away from the job. Have some positive hobbies or things that you do with your family or just for yourself. Number 4, set some realistic goals. Take pride in your work. Not everyone is going to be a sergeant, a lieutenant, a captain, or a jail administrator, and that is okay. Just be the best deputy you can be. If the timing is right and you end up in one of those other positions, that's great. Just always remember that with each of those promotions, there is going to come new challenges and new reasons for being the best you can be. And number 5, the biggest piece of advice I can give you is to never do anything to call into question your integrity. The greatest asset and value to the agency you join is going to be your integrity. You will make mistakes along the way, we all do. I've made many of them, that is part of learning. However, never lie or falsify something to cover up a mistake. Mistakes can be dealt with and fixed. Not swept under the rug, but handled and taken care of. You will have training officers and sergeants who will help you, but only you are responsible for your integrity. If you lose it, you'll spend a long time trying to ever recover or rebuild it. Own your mistakes and learn from them. You will earn and keep the respect and the support of your peers and your supervisors. If you choose to take the low road and try to lie and deny your way through a career, you will not last long. I cannot stress that enough. Part of professionalizing the corrections field is providing oversight and accountability. That is how we earn the trust of our communities. We have raised the bar in corrections, and it has been raised high. However, if you do your best, maintain your integrity, we will help you over it. So thank you and congratulations as you begin your new careers.
I want to thank Sheriff Baker for those encouraging words, and I, excuse me, encourage each and every graduate of this program, especially you today, to take to heart those words, because they weren't just words generated for this occasion, but words that have been exemplified throughout his career, as well as the career of each and every member of the corrections and law enforcement community that's here. Take your career serious. Take your level of education and your level of training serious, and be men and women of integrity. Be who you set out to be when you selected this career pathway. 2022, so today is a special graduation. Let me back up first and foremost. As I stated before, we were not able to have a graduation such as this last year, which means that 2 graduating cohorts were not recognized. And so before we get to the honorees today, a part of our ceremony will include recognizing those individuals who had their training halted by the COVID-19 pandemic. So we will recognize those individuals, and hopefully they're able to see and appreciate their recognition via virtual live stream. So we had 2 cohorts that graduated during the year of 2020. What this year taught us is that we need to, as most of us in the law enforcement community know, need to be ready to adapt to anything that life throws our way. And most of the times we do a pretty good job, in the field. But when it comes to training, it created some obstacles and barriers for us to actually do what we know we needed to do. And so I want to commend those members of the Sheriff's Training Council and the members of the local corrections community that are here who pushed for us to run a pilot. So this year, this group were the first participants in a pilot program where we were actually able to take a portion of their training and load that into a virtual environment to where they could still attain the training and the knowledge and the information while moving forward in their career. Now, we recognize in law enforcement and correction there are certain things that you just cannot do in an online setting, but this allowed us to create what we use as a metaphor, a break glass just in case option for, God willing, we never have to experience another pandemic like this. But just in case, we're able to provide the level of training and excellence that our local corrections officers need and the community demands. And so as we move forward in this program, we will have the ability to, if I can pull this back up. We would first like to start by recognizing the spring of 2020 cohort. Now, this cohort of individuals actually had their training halted. So as many of you know, we started that training academy on March 9th, and what was it, maybe 3 days into the academy, life as we knew it shifted to where we had to halt that training. I want to thank Sheriff Baker and the Allegan County Sheriff's Office for lending their facility, because as we shuffled as an institution to try to find ways to still make sure that they could receive their training, they opened their doors to us for a short period of time before they had to recognize that they had a greater responsibility to protect their inmate population as well as their staff. And because of that, we wound up having to stop or postpone the training until later that fall when things were lifted and we as an institution could safely provide that academic training. So without further ado, from the Allegan County Sheriff's Office, we want to acknowledge and recognize Keegan Augustine. And be patient with me. I hope that I do not butcher the name, but if you're watching, we have Alex Madejcek. Brooke McNeese. That's much better. I don't know why we fight it. And it's like, I know I need them, and then I just set them right down there. Robert Wagers. From the Kalamazoo County Correctional Facility, we had Rachel Anderson. From the Kent County Correctional Facility, Shannon Bacon. Bedelio Caldera. Cody Lane. Catherine Ransom. Carly Schaefer. Shonda Valentine. And David Visser. From the Moosaki County Sheriff's Department or Sheriff's Office, we had Courtney Vanderhoff. From the Ottawa County Sheriff's Office, Mark Johnston. From that cohort, we had one pre-service candidate, Kenyon Gill. Kenyon actually, after the completion of his training, decided to go active duty in the Navy and then pursue his career afterwards. Next, we have members from the fall 2020 cohort. From the Allegan County Sheriff's Office, we have Gary McClellan. Douglas Mullins. From the Kent County Sheriff's Office, Bailey Aversano. And James Morales. From the Ottawa County Sheriff's Office, we have Anita Kumarovic. And our pre-service graduates, this was the largest pre-service cohort that we've had since the induction of the Sheriff's Corrections Academy here at GRCC. We had Ricardo Flores. Anthony Hicks. Kayla Stone, she was hired by Ottawa County. Hopefully she's still doing well out there. And Anitra Williams. Next, we have the men and women who we are here today to celebrate. And as I call your name, I just ask that if you would stand, proceed around. I'll give you your token of completion, and then you can return to your seats. From the Allegan County Sheriff's Office, we have Wei Chang. Did I mess that up? Oh, see, look at that. I got one job and I messed that up. All right, so how about we, come on up. See, that was Brandy, that was your fault. Because you didn't do your speech, and so I had to improvise, so that made me mess up. All right. So we also, Vidasia Price, who had some family matters to attend. From the Kent County Sheriff's Office, we have Zachary Christian. Alexi Gronin. From the Ottawa County Sheriff's Office. And I just found out that, I mean, if you see him, this won't be me walking across the stage, but Angelo Allen. It's like a mini me. It almost looks like, minus a few gray hairs. He could almost pass as a stunt double. If I got into films or movie making, I know who I'm going to get as my stunt double. We also have from the Ottawa County Sheriff's Office, Todd Taylor. Todd sustained an injury during the subject control training. During some of the techniques, I think it was stated that he ran into a brick wall. That brick wall was Angelo. And so after he completed his training today, he had to go and have his hand repaired. I mean, that's just, so. I mean, it wasn't anything serious. I mean, it's something that could happen to all of us, but he chose Angelo to make that happen, so. How about we go? Our pre-service candidate, we have Carlos Hernandez. I don't know how he did it, but I'm going to try to get my mustache to look like that. I don't know if I can pull it off quite like Carlos, but probably not quite. And last but certainly not least, from the St. Joseph County Sheriff's Office, and she is going to give us a speech. No, I'm joking. Come on. We have Brandy Galarza. Jordan Studebaker. Why don't we please stand and give these men and women a round of applause? Thank you. You can be seated. I want to take this time again to thank each and every one of you for taking time out of your day and your schedule to come and celebrate the accomplishments of these men and women through our training. I also want to thank the GRCC staff for taking time out of their day and for allowing me to be the director or training coordinator for this program. This, unfortunately, will be my last cohort group, as I will be stepping down and we'll be making room for someone else to transition into that place. So you all will hold a special spot in my heart. A part of the responsibility that I had when they hired me here 7 years ago, and that time flew, was to develop this training program. So with the help of the Board of Trustees, colleagues, and my supervisors, actually my bosses, Dr. Mansfield and Dr. Canetto, for allowing me to grow and to develop this program to what it is today. Also, the corrections, our advisory board teams, our team members, we could not do any of the things, the programming, the instructional development, or even presenting any of the training that we do here without you and without your knowledge and expertise. So I want to thank you all for supporting me over the last 7 years and supporting our program. I hope that you continue to support it. The level of training, we have the expectation that he or she, whomever that person or that individual may be that comes in, will only make the program even better from what it is now. And so on behalf of the Grand Rapids Community College and the Criminal Justice Department, as well as the Michigan Coordinating Training Council, I want to present to you our 2021 spring cohort graduates of the GRCC Local Corrections Officer Training Council, or Training Academy. Thank you. This does end our program for today. I encourage you all, to family members, if you want to take pictures, feel free. We're not kicking you out of the building. But I thank you again for coming out to celebrate this accomplishment for these young men and young women, or young women. All right. Be safe, and thank you again.